I say, first of all, textile industry is a huge industry, a very long value chain. I wouldn't say that there's a lack of innovation. Say, if you look at the innovation, it has been probably on the kind of production technology side or designs or whatever. So, and what's maybe new in this industry is that there's lately has been quite many innovators entering this industry, developing kind of, for example, new sustainable materials or circular materials, like my company, Infinity Fiber, or then companies who are developing, say, new dyeing technologies, whatever. So maybe that is something new in this industry. And what is maybe true that say those innovations are not yet visible to the consumers or to the people as they are still, let's say, scaling up. So they are not that kind of widely available for consumers. Say, I would say that, say, definitely sustainability is one of the, let's say, huge drivers for the innovation, but I don't think that it's the only one. I'm pretty sure still that, let's say, the kind of productivity development innovation is a key area, because everybody's looking at cost efficiency, also kind of innovations which are decreasing the amount of energy used or water used. Of course, those are somehow linked with the sustainability. Then, of course, I've been seeing quite many innovators also working, for example, with online sales, developing different kind of technologies to improve that and making it kind of more friendly and easier to use for consumers. But yes, I definitely do believe that sustainability will be still one of the key drivers for the innovation. Absolutely, I'm a great believer. Otherwise, I would be probably running this company. So yes, we have seen a kind of really honest interest from the major companies. We are very actively working with companies like Adidas and H&M and Zalando and so forth. So there's a very honest interest on the new materials. And we've been also successfully testing our material in Fiber in different kind of applications, like this men's shirt is made of our fiber. Or we've been testing the same material in sweaters or T-shirts, jeans, bed linen. So we've seen a variety of applications where it's already perfectly working, and also testing that the manufacturing can happen with a good efficiency. So yes, that kind of great foundation to believe that these materials will be a mainstream solution in the future. Hopefully, much bigger than nylon. So hopefully, let's say new cotton, new better cotton. Uh, yes and no. Say, if you look at the kind of sustainability, first of all, it's pretty broad definition. So for a relatively long time, the consumers have been already kind of pointing out the need for kind of social aspects. So the kind of child labor issues and that sort of things. And that's been pressurizing on the industry. When it comes to kind of say, ecological side, definitely we have seen a kind of change in behavior in that respect, particularly with the younger generation. And I think that's, if I remember correctly, looking at Zalando, for example, I think the most common search word used in their web shop is already sustainability. So definitely that kind of describes that the consumers are kind of having more and more interest. What is then maybe true also is that, say, it's not that easy. Say, as consumers, we first are looking at probably comfort and the kind of good-looking clothing. So it has to be kind of supporting, or the clothing has to be supporting your personality also. So I think, let's say, when it comes to the kind of choices, is it now easy to find out, say, sustainable clothing, which are at the same time good-looking and comfortable? I think that's probably still the area what we need to be working on. That's one of the key issues for my company, Infinity Fiber. So our development target all the time has been that, say, the material is looking so good, feeling so good, and it's also the quality is such great that the consumer don't need to be making any kind of compromise when it comes to the design or the quality of the clothing. And then, let's say, becoming a mainstream, so that the consumers don't need to be, let's say, actively looking for sustainable clothing. Whatever they are choosing is sustainable. So I think that's our target, making circular, sustainable clothing mainstream. Yeah, as I say, first I would be probably a bit questioning that are the technologies really out there? If you, for example, look at, say, the area where we are working, for example, textile to textile recycling technologies, I don't think that there's actually any technology which is yet on commercial scale. Say, for example, let's say recycled polyester, it's now mostly or almost only made of the PET bottles. So it's not really textile to textile recycling technology. And then, say, technology is not just a question of having a great technology. For example, our kind of technology needs somebody building factories to produce the fiber. So I think that's the kind of area where we are, that, let's say, we can kind of create great technology. We can partner with great brands so that they are kind of presenting the demand for the fiber. But still, at the end of the day, say, somebody needs to be investing on factories, and say as this is a huge industry, so it is also, let's say, requiring pretty large investments. And then it also takes in development of the whole supply chain. Say the textile waste collection system, it's not quite there yet. It's evolving and developing. Then there's, let's say, development needed also on kind of sorting technologies, because when you are collecting textile waste, you need to be sorting it somehow. So, say, it takes quite a bit of development on different scales and different stages, and that's still ongoing. So I think that they are definitely coming, and the let's say the speed is just increasing, but they are not yet there. I don't think so. Let's say, first of all, I don't think that anybody can develop or roll out any technology without a kind of working together with someone. So I think, let's say, for us, it was, of course, a kind of natural choice that we needed to start working together with these brands, both as investors and as cooperation partners, as that's the kind of validation to the other investors that the kind of in Finna, the fiber, what we are able to produce, is really a solution for the brand's needs, because it's the brands who are facing the consumers, so they definitely have the insight on and they can also have a decision point, and they are pretty decisive on making choices of materials. So in that respect, it's highly important. Secondly, we've been also signing multi-year, multi-million euro contracts supply in the future in Finna fiber to those. So that's also very important for other investors to de-risk that there is a really kind of confirmed demand for the future. But the brands are not the only ones. So of course we need to be working together with the equipment suppliers, engineering companies, textile waste collectors, and so forth. So let's say it's a pretty comprehensive network of different stakeholders what we need. But absolutely, the brands are very, very important, and we're happy that we kind of started on creating the pull and not try to kind of create a push, because there are those different strategies you can choose from. Yeah, we have quite a bit of support. Say, our roots are at VTT. VTT is 100% state of Finland owned applied technology research center. So they were researching this technology for quite a many years, and I investing quite a bit of development and money on technology development. So that's our starting point. Then of course during this development path, we've been receiving also funding from EU, for example. Then State of Finland has the other financing institute called Business Finland. They've been also providing us kind of loans or soft loans and other instruments to finance our development. Also, they've been providing us some ways to reach the publicity. So there has been quite a different ways. And then, of course, the European Union is also developing interesting legislation. For example, this new legislation which is forcing all the member states to start collecting separately textile waste. So yes, there's a great amount of support already received. Yeah, exactly. Say the EU as kind of circular economy development is one of the kind of core areas of the EU's development, and textile industry is one of the six core areas also. So EU is definitely creating new funding mechanisms also, and it looks that they're also creating new kind of legislation to kind of accelerate the development. I'm super happy that the industry as such has already the interest and is taking the actions to move forward fast. But of course, through the kind of legislation, we can even further speed up. So, for example, if there would be mechanisms to let's say equalize the playground, because say the present technologies have been on the market for 150 years, and let's say our kind of new material technologies, let's say we are just ramping up. So, of course, kind of having the competitiveness in the beginning is challenging. So, let's say through the legislation, you can definitely level the playground and let's say speed up the growth. Yeah, I'll say first of all, I'm sure that it remains to be $1 trillion or trillion euro industry as the population is still growing globally. The size of the kind of wealthy people or medium class is growing. So there will be more money in the world to also consume on clothing. So it will stay $1 trillion euro business. That's not a question. And I definitely I'm a great believer that it also will be a sustainable industry, as there are so many initiatives, so many, let's say, wonderful companies driving for sustainability and taking it seriously. So if you, for example, look at the change what Inditex has been making, let's say, it is so visible in Zara shops in Finland that they've been now labeling all the clothing what they're selling based on the ecological footprint. So it's made very easy for consumers to understand what I'm choosing. So yes, I'm a great believer that it will be a sustainable industry. I'm not sure if there's something what I can tell that what you're going to learn, but I definitely, let's say, if you look at our education system, so let's say our population is kind of highly educated. Say, I think, let's say, for example, in Finland, about 20-25% of people have university education. So the education system is wonderful, and it's not only about kind of knowledge sharing. Our education system is based on learning people to search for data, search for information, and also learning the curiosity. So it's not just that you learn something from the university data, but you learn how you can create some new data. Then, of course, if you look, for example, the kind of material space and the kind of natural materials, which is one of the core development areas today, Finland has very strong heritage on pulp and paper industry. Some decades ago, Finland used to produce, I think it was 30% of world's paper. So there's a very rich heritage of people, highly educated people who have strong competence on cellulose chemistry or let's say kind of biomaterials. And once the paper demand started to decrease, the companies, the people, the universities, research academia, they started to shift the attention from traditional pulping and paper into kind of new materials. And of course, as we also have a very strong backup from the state of Finland for research. So that was kind of shifting the whole ship to start looking at innovations on the new area. So I think that it's a combination of different things: the excellent education, let's kind of research minded, and then thirdly, I think all the Nordic countries are very small economies, so you can't develop anything for say Finnish economy or Danish economy. We're always looking for let's say global perspective and let's say kind of also going bravely, whether it's Asia or whether it's Europe. Let's say it's part of our tradition that let's say we immediately start working on the global perspective. So of course it's kind of easing up that we are not just looking something for the local markets. Yeah, let's say, of course, it's very difficult to estimate what the future will be. Probably not. So definitely there has been already now a great shift from the kind of conventional cotton to better cotton or let's say kind of cotton with let's say much decreased environmental impact. and I think that change will go on. I'm convinced that, of course, the demand of the kind of circular materials where you're utilizing not natural reserves, but something which is already being wasted, for example, like we can take in the old textile waste. So I'm sure that the kind of demand will be growing for these, but then probably at the end of the day, it will be still you will be also growing new cotton, natural cotton with better methods, and then the increased availability coming from new sustainable materials or circular materials. So I say my vision and belief is that, let's say, there will be kind of joy and hope back in fashion, so that people can really proudly wear what they've been buying and express themselves, and knowing that, let's say, they are not buying, consuming something which is kind of costing the world, or costing to the planet. I think that's the problem, that people are getting more and more aware that, let's say, what we are doing today, it is really costing enormously to the planet and future generations.